We made it to that time of the year. It's time for Dom Picks NBA Finals Edition. We got, representing the Western Conference, a young up-and-coming team that has shown that they are here and they're ready, the Oklahoma City Thunder. On the opposite side, we got from the East Coast, the champs, the Indiana Pacers, led by Tyrese Halliburton, what the helly, Pascal Siakam, and Miles Turner, the longest tenure Indiana Pacer. These are two teams who might be in small markets, but this is going to be an intriguing matchup. I understand it's not your Lakers, Celtics, Knicks, but I'm going to tell you now, from a basketball standpoint, even if you're a casual, you're going to enjoy this game. The Indiana Pacers, they play at a fast tempo. Then on the opposite side, you got the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're a gritty team. They can play physical. They can play in transition. They are the #1 defense going up against the #1 offense in Indy. We're going to see which philosophy runs true. Can you still win championships with strong defense? Or great defense, better offense? Can offense reign supreme? Going back to the regular season matchups, there were some key players missing in both. Chet didn't play in either game. Alex Caruso missed the first one. Nesmith missed the first game as well. I won't put too much stock into those matchups. However, I do want to note in the first matchup, Indiana played a clean game, but OKC battled back and they ended up taking that win, led by 45 from SGA. The first takeaway I want to highlight from their first encounter was the fact that Tyrese Halliburton wasn't nearly aggressive enough as a scorer, and they neutralized him as a facilitator. He only had, I believe, 8-9 assists in this game. Meanwhile, he had 4 points, went 2 of 6. If the Pacers want to knock off this historic defense, Tyrese Halliburton has to continue what he's done throughout this postseason run. He's going to have to balance being a scorer and a facilitator. And I believe OKC is going to force him to be a facilitator because we've seen plenty of times throughout the course of this postseason. He jumps a lot when he's delivering passes. So Hallie's going to have to pick and choose his opportunities to go up and score. I'm sure the scouting report is telling them that he's going to pass more times than not. So can he capitalize on that and be aggressive as a scorer in this series? On the defensive side, can Indiana figure out how to close those lanes? Because in that first encounter, when SGA went off for 45, they struggled to stay in front of him. We've seen that be a theme in the previous series for Indy against New York, where Brunson was able to get to wherever spot he wanted on the floor. SGA is a better version of that. There's a reason why he's the MVP. He's an elite scorer, and he can score at all 3 levels. Now, you want him taking more threes, but he can knock those down. So it'll be intriguing to see how Nesmith and Nembhard play him. I believe they'll be physical with them, much like how Nesmith was in terms of how he got over those screens when he was playing against the Knicks and guarding Brunson. And SGA isn't too far off because he is someone who knows how to create contact. He knows how to draw fouls. So for Indy, it continues to be on theme. You got to be careful with your fouls. And going back to what I said in terms of them maintaining those driving lanes, you got to make sure you pack the paint, especially for SGA and J-Dub. They can both get to the rim. They can get to their spots in terms of the mid-range. For Indy to win this series, defensively, I think you have to force OKC to take more threes. Now, we've seen their supporting cast. They've been up and down in terms of consistency from beyond the arc, but I'm leaning more towards forcing the others to beat me. I'm going to force Chet to shoot more threes to get easy lobs or get easy putbacks. I'm going to force Lou Dort to beat me. I do want to note, in Game 2 of this series matchup in the regular season, Isaiah Joe went off. So that strategy, you got to pick and choose who you leave open. But most importantly, as long as you're getting out to contest those threes, I believe Indiana has the advantage there. And pace has been an important factor for all this postseason, especially when it comes down to the Pacers. We know that they want to get out and run, make or miss. However, while doing my prep for this series, OKC actually was ranked higher in terms of pace than Indy. And that's because they get out in transition, but they do it a little bit differently. They want to get you turned over. They want to get those easy transition points off of steals, deflections, all that. So for Indy, they have to make sure that they manage their turnovers. They've done pretty well for the most part here in the playoffs, but there were some points in the previous series where, okay, they was getting a little more turnovers than usual. You cannot do that against OKC because OKC will make you pay. We saw that in the Western Conference Finals against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Also, in reference to pace and transition points, OKC did a fantastic job against Indy in terms of the fast break points. In total, from the 2 regular season matchups, Indy only had 17 fast break points. That sounds egregious, especially when you look at this Pacers team right now in the postseason. So I believe Indy has to do a better job of getting into transition against this OKC team, but it's going to be difficult. Like I said, they have an elite historic defense. I'm pretty sure this is a team that looked at that New York series and said, we're not going to allow the Indiana Pacers to just get easy buckets after a make or a miss. Because there was plenty of times where Siakam just leaked out and he had an easy layup after the Knicks scored. So I believe the Thunder will tighten up there. And also throughout this postseason, their transition defense has been elite. So I expect that to continue here against Indy. So for my official Dom pick for the 2025 NBA Finals, I'm going to take the Oklahoma City Thunder in 6. This is a team that I believe is playing with a lot of confidence. That 7-game series against Denver really is what took them over the top. In particular, offensively, the supporting cast is playing really well right now. I like what I'm getting out of J-Dub. I like what I'm getting out of Chet. They're being aggressive. They're not just settling. And keep this factor in mind. I believe Indiana has the better offensive supporting cast, but I believe the Thunder have the most impactful supporting cast. That means they do a better job defensively. They do a great job of making the hustle plays. That will go a long way for the Oklahoma City Thunder winning the series, in my opinion. But obviously, the most important factor is who is going to stop SGA, the reigning MVP. I'm a little concerned about Nesmith because he's dealing with that ankle injury. Hopefully, with 4 days of rest, he'll be able to maintain and stay with SGA for the series. But as a team, I don't think the Indiana Pacers can slow down or stop SGA. Hell, not too many teams have been able to do it at all. Let me know what you guys think. Comment down below your predictions. I honestly could be wrong. I'll be honest, I didn't even have this NBA Finals, so I don't want to discredit Indy. I can see an outcome in which Indiana is able to pull out this series, but I'm going to just stick with my guns. I'm going to roll with OKC. Other than that, make sure you guys subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.